What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today I want to show you guys double stages. Yeah, they are back once again to AFK Journey. AFK Progress 1102 is where I'm at currently, and apparently once you reach 550 here on those stages, you can see this is AFK stage 551, 2 teams there that you have to beat. And the same for Talent Trials where we are on 553. 2 teams that we have to beat. Then you will have to go into 2 teams, and I cleared a few stages and seems to be like this is now the go-to. This is now what we'll face all the time, 2 teams that we have to fight. And of course, in a way, this is always a problem. Many free-to-play players or low-spender players in general hate it. Because you are forced to have like 10 strong heroes, and 10 strong heroes means, well, of course, highly ascendant, maybe upgraded to Supreme Plus or something, maybe even Paragon. Well, Paragon in AFK stage is not really needed, and you need some upgrades on your equipment as well, on your exclusive equipment, and this is making it hard if you're not that invested into the game. If you didn't spend for the game, I think, then you kind of struggle to have like 2 full teams, especially when those teams include Celestial and Hypergene hero, and especially at that point I think you can struggle a little bit, and we'll see one team that actually uses them. And this is like the goal of this video, is to show you a few teams that you can use, and that mechanics in general that you can use. The teams have to be adjusted for most stages, I fear, and this will hopefully help you to clear a little bit. By the way, have you noticed this NPC has a bit of a suspicious name, and it's called Wheat Supplier here. Interesting. So, different topic. Let's go into AFK stages. Normal stages, boring in a way. Boring in a way. Because we kind of get to use the same teams. If we even look at the successful attempts, we see this one, our standard Iron team, and then on the other one, there's a Lily May in there. Which I understand, by the way, why. I can show you that. And then we have like an OD team. OD, Smokey combined a little bit with a tank, a little bit CC. Nothing super fancy. That is the stuff we played for seasons. And maybe I can show you guys why this is not optimal and you should use Lily May instead. This is kind of funny. Because this Atalanta is somehow super tanky. It's actually ridiculous. If she survives, she can beat our entire team alone and outlast it. If we get bad RNG on the CC. Let's see. Let's see if it happens. It's kind of funny if you see it. If you have Lily May, of course, you can counter her ult, and then it's not really an issue. I think we get to the point. Yeah, and there it is. So now we can't beat her. She can stand there now for 60 seconds, and we can't beat her. Because she will do her ult every single time, and then recover her entire HP. You can watch it one more time. It's actually ridiculous. It is completely ridiculous. She's unaffected, so she can't be CC'd. And yeah. That is basically it. So, we won't be able to beat her that way. If we had Lily May, we could counter her ult and then it would work, but like this, no chance. Crazy. And a bit of a revenge as well, if we think about it, because I yesterday ranked her in the ranking list a bit low, and now she haunts me in PvE, which is funny. So, yeah, it's really the same. Just relying on OD Smokey and some form of Iron CC. That is basically what's happening there. Talent Trials are a bit more exciting because we find some teams in there that are a bit new. First team that I really want to show you guys is this one. It is, well, that is a little bit of a modified version of this. The core of this team looks like this. The core of this team is Fresto, is Scarlita, is Talene, and it uses the Celestial Hypergene faction skill, which we are going to take a look at in a second. I want to show you guys it visually first. And with this team, you can basically clear most stages. You can add some stuff to it. One thing that I just showed you guys was like adding Ulmus to it is interesting because we have the Dark faction skill here from the Hypergenes, and this one pulls enemies together a little bit like an Iron effect. So you can make use of Ulmus CC, which is pretty cool. The other thing that we can do is of course put Ulmus and Iron, which makes this team pretty strong, honestly. And the other way is to just add a little bit more tankiness because we have so much damage. We have Scarlita, we have Talene in here. That is already a whole lot of damage. So you can just go with something like, where's my Coco? Let's add Coco to that team if I can find her. Oh, she's on the second team. No. And we can put her in this, and then you have a running team. It's just relying on the 2 skills there and 2 very potent damage dealers with Scarlita and Talene, and then you are fine. On the second team, it's possible to either go with OD as well, but for the most cases, it is a little bit better to probably go for a CC chain team with something like Ulmus in there, putting an Arden as well, going for like the damage dealer stuff, and then just making it probably like this with either a healer that could, or a Rowan could be okay, or we can just go with the CC with Temesia, which is also perfectly fine and will help us do a ton of damage. So just showing that, let's start off with this team apparently, okay. And this can pretty quickly clear out the enemy just by fully CCing them. In this situation we have a ton of damage dealers, and something like this CC team works especially good if you have an enemy team that has a ton of damage dealers in. As we saw, there was Sylvina in there, there was Rhys in there, we had Brian in there, so there were some pretty crazy damage dealers in there that you want to keep at bay. So for this you can use like a wilder team with Iron. And the other thing that we have is of course this Celestial Hypogen team, and if you've never seen the skill, it's pretty cool. The white skill there stuns the enemy with an AoE effect and then can recover energy and HP, and the other one pulls the enemies together. And the combination of having two skills is actually kind of interesting. It's kind of fun. So let's take a bit of a look there. Just saw it right there, the pulling of the enemies, and we have some true damage there with our skills in general, with Scarlita and also with Smokey, and it's quite visually impressive, I have to say. It's visually quite interesting. And what I notice about this team is we often have pretty impressive survivability. Even for the heroes that are outside of the range of Smokey. It can be quite insane because we have like this situation where we fight very strong enemies there and still are able to outlast them. So we maybe can take a look at the stats. This is it. Take a look at the damage that they took there. Crazy. But the survivability is just there. So this is like those are like two teams that you can already use. And I think for the Iron one is pretty easy. This is something that probably most people can achieve. This one is another story because we have Scarlita in here, we have Talene in here, we have Fresto in here, and most guides tell you to go for Rainier first. So that would mean you would need to have like 4 Celestial and Hypogen heroes, which most players just don't have. So it is a bit of a whale strategy, I have to say. And if you are free to play or low spender, or just in general don't own these heroes, these specific heroes, then you are better off going with a different strategy. And that different strategy is one that we already saw a second ago. It is going Smokey, going OD, and combining those with heroes that can work. In this situation, we just saw the record of this one team that was used looking like this, with Smokey, with Coco, and with Fresto. If you don't own Fresto, you have to go for another tank. Oftentimes it's Brutus. You can use Granny, it's also okay, or Atalanta. All won't give you the same performance as Fresto, but that is something you'll have to live with. In this situation, if you put this team into Talent Trials, though, you will get the Mauler skill, which is not too great, and you want to be careful not to put it on your OD, because this will put your teleport your OD right into the middle of the enemies. So you can put like a tank on there. Is an option, but it's really not too great of a skill. And I have to say, in a lot of situations where this skill was available, I saw clears ignore it. So like they didn't put anything on the talent buff tile, which is ridiculous. This teleports like your hero into the enemies, and the idea is to give them some extra effects to make them more tanky, and in reality it doesn't work out. So it's a bit sad. Later on stage 3 it becomes interesting because you get this, but who has smaller skilled stage 3? Maybe if we reskill and put the stuff from Graveborn over there, I can see it. But for the most other people, we are looking at Wilder, which is just a skill to give you the 40% extra damage. Really some nice buffs in there, a little bit of shield. The only tech thing that you really get to use is if you put Iron on there, you instantly give him a shield, which gives him the 80% dodge rate that he gains while he has a shield. So that can be a tactic that you can use. And the other thing is the Celestial Hypogen skill, where you have like the base skill in here, which is pretty, well, it's a pretty easy skill. Pretty easy to understand. Every 6 seconds, you deal 120% true damage to the area with the most adjacent enemies, stuns them for 1.5 seconds, and then you get the effects added on top. You can enhance the stun, you can enhance the true damage, and you can get like some HP recovery and later on energy recovery through this skill. And the other thing that you get is when you go to the second talent buff tile, you get this dark talent buff tile, it is called. And we just saw that. And this is actually interesting. It is 3 seconds into the battle. So it's like 3 seconds before the other skill. This is 6 seconds into the battle. This is 3 seconds into the battle. So ideally, you would first pull the enemies together and then cast the stun. So they combine very, very well, which is pretty cool. The only thing is this dark thing doesn't pull enemies together very efficiently. It is rather slow. So it's not like an iron effect that sucks them together super, super massively. It is just like very slow pull that you saw in the fight before. So sometimes it can be nice to just put Ulmus and Iron into this team. We just use Smokey and Coco. I saw this with Ulmus and Iron. If you don't want to go for the CC team on the second one, you can use Iron Pull to pull enemies together, just have like a double pull effect, keeping them really tight together. And then Ulmus at Mythic Plus, just chaining them down on the position. And that can be really effective as well. That is super effective, actually. So if you want to go for only team on the second one, and the team you really want to go for on the first one is not really this, but is something like this with Iron. Wait, we can put Iron in here. Let's just put Iron. And we want to get Ulmus as well. And we'll just do the first fight, so we don't really have to set up the second one. I just want to show you the first. And this can look something like this. So you get the immediate pull. 3 seconds into the battle, we cast the black hole on there. We then get to cast the black hole again, and we do see how much they are moved, like from side to side to side, barely getting to anything really. And then we already come down with Skalita, we come down with Talene. Talene obviously doesn't have too much heal there, so she dies towards the end of her ult. But we get to like a really, really efficient clear. We get a really, really efficient clear. And of course, well, this won't work, so we can quit out of here. But this is like another option that you have. So, do I hate that they put those double stages in there again? No, I don't. Personally, I have to see it from my perspective, which is like an account where I have most of the heroes. So for me, it's an interesting challenge. It's an interesting challenge to only be able to use the hero that I like in one team. I can't just click, okay, I do an Iron CC team, click and go. I have to think a little bit, and I have to take 2 faction skills into account. And the thing is, I don't like the ones on the AFK or normal AFK stages though. I don't like the normal AFK stages at all. I would love if it were all talent trials, because I like the faction skills. I just don't like to do the standard stuff again. That is another story though. But I can understand how it's like limiting for an account that doesn't have that many heroes. Still, keep in mind, you're probably progressing at the same rate as people with a similar account state. So it's not like unfair in that sense. It's just that you have to wait 1 or 2 days longer until you can probably clear a stage, which also at the same time, I mean, you could argue takes some time away from the time you have to put towards campaign pushing. Though I can understand that it feels limiting, so it feels bad. And yeah, that's the thing. Still, yeah, it's a case now. It is definitely there. And we'll have to deal with it. Tell me what you think about those stages down in the comments. Tell me your favorite team to do double stages. Did you use the Celestial Hypogean skill? And in general, if you are free to play, I would really like to know how many Celestial Hypogean heroes you have and how far they are upgraded. And if you are like a low spender, the same. Tell me just if you're a low spender, if you're free to play, and how many Celestial Hypogean heroes you have, because I kind of lost the idea. I don't really know how many it usually is. Like, let me know down below. And till then, I wish you a great day. Hope you subscribe to this channel, because I noticed we're at 70% not subscribed, which is insane. But till then, I will see us in the next one.